did you miss me? I, of course you did. I know you missed me. I hope you've been keeping up with my shorts. If you have, you know that I'm about to get in my painting bag. Do you hear me? So make sure that you subscribe to my page because I'm about to start like really going ham on it. Like I'm going to be giving out tips and tricks and things that I would not do again. So please make sure you are following along. But let's jump into this video right now. So this was part of my monster series. I remember I was doing this series on a live stream on the Clock app, and the amount of votes that I got to do a werewolf was like ridiculous. I'm like, are you guys trying to get me to draw furries? If you just want me to draw furries, just tell me. I don't care. Maybe it's because of overwhelming love for Monster High, which I totally understand. Because if you do not know, I have an impressive Monster High collection. Like, come on now. I started collecting as a full-grown adult, but I have a very impressive Monster High collection. And I remember as an adult in my 20s when those dolls debuted, I was just like, oh my God, where was this when I was coming up? Like, it's not that I don't like Barbie, but Barbie is, let's be real, Barbie, yeah. Let me not say that because you never know, I might end up working with Mattel one day. But, you know, she's typical. You know, she's typical. We grew up seeing her, and I wanted to see something different. So when Monster High came, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been wanting. And I think one of my favorite things about them was all the different skin tones. Like, Frankie was blue, Dracula was pink, Claudine was brown. She was our resident black girl. Let's just be real. Chloe was like this golden color. Guya was the zombie blue. And so many other colors, you know. I just think that was so fun, so creative. They had the best fashion of any of the dolls. Because I wasn't really a fan of Bratz. I know, surprising, especially because visually my artwork really resembles Brat dolls. It's the lips. I know it. But let me give you a little bit of tip of why I tend to draw that way. Number one, I am highly influenced by dolls and by anime. Another thing is that, and this is something that my teacher told me when I was in college, we subconsciously give our artwork our features. So if you have plump lips, you may just draw your character's lips plump. You know, if you have like a broad face, you may just do that. Like, it's subconscious, you know, it's something with the brain that makes us do that. But anyway, back to this drawing. So the materials of the day are the same ones I used in the last video. And that is the Tombow watercolor markers. So basically they go on solid, as you'll see me using them. And then when you touch them with water, they're activated and they turn into watercolor. I highly recommend them if you are a watercolor enthusiast. Highly recommend them. Now you see me using them right now. This is where I'm starting to put down colors to give me like a fur coat. Because werewolves have fur, but I didn't just want to do everything in shades of brown, so I'm throwing in some red in there. Mainly because the last girl had so much pink, I didn't want to repeat that color again. And as you can see, you see me putting the marker down, making little scratch marks and putting it down dry. And then I'm going in with that paint brush, that paint pen, that water pen. Lord, that's a water pen. So it's basically a pen. It's basically a brush. It's a brush that holds water in it. And if you squeeze it, the water comes out and it allows you to, paint with it. And it's perfect when you're on the go. Or in my case, too lazy to fill a cup of water. And I really, really love the effects of this. Like, this is cool. And then for layering, remember when you're doing watercolor, even when you're using these markers, you're still going to follow the rules of watercolor, which is light to dark. Because you can always get darker, but you can't lighten it back up. Once you take away the white of the paper, you can't go back. So you definitely want to make sure you are working light to dark. And so after I got my base in there, now I'm going back with my darker marker and I am adding some dimension. I really want this fur coat to look full and luxurious. Even though I'm not individually drawing the hair, you just see me doing a little bit of scratch marks here and there. But even with just that simple detail, you can tell she's wearing a fur coat. That's my fashion illustrator background showing up. You know, even though I'm drawing monsters, I'm still that fashion girl. And now here I am working on her hair. I decided to drop a little bit of purple in there as like reflective light because I didn't want so much overwhelming black because I was getting ready to give her, you know, the it girl ponytail. Definitely. And I couldn't figure out a lips color, so I decided to do natural lips on her. And you see me like putting it down and wiping up, putting it down, wiping up because it just wasn't looking, it was looking like a dog's muzzle to me, you know, and I didn't want that. I really wanted it to look like lips. So I ended up using a red color instead of a brown color. So it's like a deep red. And I'm giving her some luxurious hair. Now notice I'm leaving breaks in between the hair. I didn't fill the whole thing in with black. I'm letting that water fill that in for me. It's giving me that lovely watercolor effect. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just kissing the paper. It's not overly saturated. That's the one thing I do love about watercolor. I love those effects when the water dries and you could see like where some areas are more saturated than others. I do love that effect. But other than that, I am not a fan of watercolor at all. Why? Because I'm a control freak and it doesn't want to be controlled. I don't understand. Bend to my will. Stay where I want you to stay. And these markers give me a small sense of control. Because, you know, you can't go into art with fear. It can smell your fear. So this gives me a little piece, makes me feel like I'm in control, you know. And remember, when you're using these markers and you're using this water, you want to make sure you have a really good paper. I am using a heavy mixed media paper notebook. It came from Michaels, so I believe it's Michaels brand. But make sure you're gonna get a heavy pound paper. Because, you know, if you look at the front packaging on a sketchbook, they have these little numbers on the side where it tells you how many pounds or how many grams the paper is. And they don't actually mean when you pick the paper up, it's going to be 60 pounds. I don't actually know what it translates to, but I do know the higher the number, the stronger the paper. So I believe this paper right here is 110 pounds. I usually like to work in that lane. I hate thin paper. Like a 60-pound paper is just may be a little bit better than plain copy paper. You usually find that in cheaper sketchbooks. But I love this type of rigid paper for doing watercolors, for doing marker, for doing color pencil, because it has a bit of a tooth to it. I'm just not a flimsy paper girl. I mean, I like them thick. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm really just rambling. So we're now coming to the end. I'm just, doing some finishing touches. Oh, I just gave you a brief flash of the other pages in the sketchbook. And now I am signing my name. and just adding a few little details in there with my color pencil. So if you liked this drawing and you found this enjoyable, oh, I just noticed that I gave her a collar that says Drac. She has an owner, baby. Let them know who you belong to. But anyway, if you like this content, please, please, please give me a follow, give me a share, smash that like button, give me a comment. I always trying to answer my comments. Adding the moon, because what is a werewolf without a full moon? But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed yourself with this time lapse. Definitely leave a comment on what you would like to see going forward. Bye.